What is going on, family? Welcome back to another video here on my channel, and I ask you one question here before we jump into today's value. How many of you have been trying to change some form of behavior in 2020, or whether it be just over a duration of time? Behavioral change is one of the hardest things for us as human beings, as the most adaptable species in the world. Why is behavior, good behavior, things that we want to actually manifest and produce in our lives, why is it so difficult for us to do that? What I want to go over in this video is how to instinctually instill new behaviors for you to actually progress your life forward. What is going on? My name is Dr. Brian McElderry, former pharmacist turned holistic life and business coach, speaker, and author. And on this channel, what we talk about is all things life mastery, minimalism, and entrepreneurship, all to create an abundance of love, money, and impact for your life. So if that sounds great to you, what I would like from you really quick is just a quick like, a subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you know not to miss a video when I produce it here on this channel. So what we want to go over today is how can we put more productive routines, behaviors into our life very intentionally for us to get out of our lives what we ultimately want, which is success. Maybe it's money for you, maybe it's love, maybe it's an impact that you want to have, right? All the things that we are trying to cultivate on this channel together as a family. Okay, so what I want to do is just go over the 5 habitual steps that most people go through or try to go through when they're trying to change a behavior. Many of you are maybe familiar with this. If you're not, we want to have a reminder here. Nothing is new under the sun. The Bible tells us that. We've heard it before. Everything that we have is at our fingertips, but why don't we actually do it? All right, so let's jump into today's value. We as human beings are the most adaptable species in the world, as stated previously. We have the ability at the snap of our finger to change the direction of our lives, whether that be good or whether it be bad. One moment could literally put us on the streets, and another moment could send us to the moon. We don't know the power that we have because we're battling so much with ourselves that it seems like we're battling the world, when in reality, it's our own internal struggles, our internal doubts, our fears, the trials and tribulations, our experiences of life that have hit us so hard that it's caused a traumatic experience for us that we're still dealing with to this day. So what I want us to understand is that you have the power, we have the power as human beings to adapt, to be flexible. The human brain was once seen as a static organ, not having the ability to adapt and be flexible and change. And it was thought that this one organ was just stagnant, that if you were born into a certain situation, you were required to remain there. You didn't have the opportunity to learn more and grow more. That everyone has the opportunity, if they were born healthy, or even if they weren't born of a healthy, sound mind, that they could change that at any moment by being able to inject naturally new thoughts, new experiences, new people into their lives. All of us as human beings have the ability to be, not just do. So I want you to understand that from a firm foundation, that our brains, our natural state of being is to evolve and is to grow and is to change. So we need to understand that first, that the brain has plasticity. Naturally, the brain is going to evolve and change. Right now, as you're listening to this, you are being projected new thoughts and new ideas, or maybe old thoughts have been risen to the surface by listening to this YouTube channel and this particular video, right? Nothing is new under the sun. I keep reminding you that, and you've got to remember that every day we can learn something new, we can be reminded of something, and that creates a change in behavior that becomes a positive routine for you that you don't even know you're doing. Many of you, hey, maybe you forget to brush your teeth in the morning, but if naturally you're going to use the restroom, brush your teeth, wash your face, and you don't even think about it for some. It's just a routine that you normally do. And the cue is once you wake up, you go to the restroom, maybe you drink a cup of water, You roll out of bed, maybe you sit, whatever routine you have, it's natural. You don't even have to think about it. But why is it so hard to change the behavior that is necessary for many of us to progress our lives forward? The plasticity of the brain, again, yet, is there for us to change and evolve and grow and adapt to all new experiences, environments, people that are coming into our lives. Things are constantly changing. So what happened to us in 2020, it didn't happen to us, was a natural state that was going to happen inevitably. But because many of us as human beings, we stopped being and we were just doing, we were functioning at an operational standpoint and not an evolutionary standpoint, we became victims to what was happening. Yet we had the ability to change, but for some, it took a long time for you to instill these new behaviors, for you to get comfortable working from home, for you to get comfortable around looking at your finances again, to get comfortable around being around your partner more consistently and having to communicate more effectively. These are the things that are happening. Maybe even your career, you got very comfortable, right? But because change was inevitable, and we forget this at times, that we get comfortable and we have to change drastically. But if we instill these behaviors, if we understand the art of behavioral change, then we will be better able to handle whatever comes our way in this new season of 2021 or a new season in general. So that being said, I'm going to go through the states of behavioral change and go through again how we can implement these a little bit better in our lives. So this cyclical formation or this exponential formation of behavioral change is a constant. It never stops, right? Because we can fall in any one of these stages at any time, every time we try to put a new behavior inside of our routine. Every time, even myself, trying to work towards being a more effective, quick action taker for my life in whatever area I'm trying to improve, right? Why am I hesitant in some areas, but I'm more confident in others? How can I be more confident in all areas by being able to expedite the process of pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, and ultimately get to the action step, and then the maintenance phase where I'm actually instilling this behavior consistently. Right? So let's go through each of these stages. And the first one is pre-contemplation. Okay. I always have my book with me, so I make sure we stay on track. So if you're watching this right now, don't forget, if you're enjoying it thus far, hit that like for me before I jump into these steps. I'll be very quick here. I want to run through these with you and we can go from there. The pre-contemplation phase is this is the intent, right? You have the intention of doing something. The willful act to say, I want to do something, but it seems like there's a wall, there's a barrier that's restricting me, but there's not a physical barrier there. But for some situations, there might be, right? If you're trying to physically move or go somewhere, there might be a barrier for changing behavior in that sense. But most of the times it's internal, right? So what is the intent that you have? And that's important because we must set an intention for why we want to change our specific behavior going forward. So if your goal is to increase your finances, get better savvy with your finances, or whether it be to change some form of communication with your partner, whether it be I want to start a business, so I've got to instill routines into my daily practice so I can operate a business effectively, right? So what is the intention? Why do you want to change this behavior? And a lot of people just don't have the why down, so they never get even to consideration, which is the next phase of contemplation. Okay, this is the consideration. You're weighing the odds. Should I or should I not do this? Why am I doing this? I don't even know. So you got to go back to pre-contemplation, then go back to the consideration, right? It's just this back and forth. And before you even get to saying a yes on the other end. So I want you to think for just a moment, what is a tough decision that you've had to make in your life or that you're trying to make right now, and you just weren't even able to get to the actionable step? You weren't even able to prepare yourself to receive that thing. If someone gave it to you right now, whatever you want, someone gave it to you, would you be able to properly receive it and maintain it? Many can't say that. right? I can as well. For some things that I want, I have to go through these stages of behavior to have a better foundation for receiving, right? So if you want to change your career, if someone gave you that thing, whoa, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. I've got to make sure, I got to consider if this is the right decision. Having a why, having an intention, and then also being able to have some type of consideration. Is this the thing that I even want? So during this pre-contemplation phase and contemplation phase, during the contemplation, you haven't even committed to anything yet, right? This person isn't able to commit to changing a behavior at all. We learned this during my matriculation through pharmacy school, trying to change people's smoking cessation behavior, get them off of the habit of smoking, right? This is where a lot of people are familiar with this. If you're familiar with it in another area, go ahead and comment down below where you use this model in your life. Where have you seen it? Have you heard it before? Where have you read it? I want to hear down below where you've seen this. If you haven't, say, Brian, this is the first time I'm hearing this. Let me know. Third stage is the preparation. After you've contemplated, you've pre-contemplated, you've gone through your intention, you've gone through the why, you've understood more deeply why you wanted to change, and then you considered and you committed. Now it's time to prepare the table. It's time to get yourself ready. Okay, so during this preparation phase, most people are gathering a lot of information. We have a lot of consumers during the preparation phase. And this is a hard time because this is the stage right before you make a decision. And most people relapse within 21 days of getting to this phase. So there's a reason why I have my coaching programs and my resources in the direction that I do, in the time frame that I do, because I understand that once people make a decision, there's going to be a process of getting them to even make a commitment to changing a behavior after they've already committed. So this doesn't stop after you make one decision. You have to go through this again. So let me make a reference here. This is referenced a lot of times in entrepreneurship and business. What got people to 10K, to 100K, to a million, to multiple millions, to a billion, each and every one of these stages, this person is going to have to change a behavior. So it's stated before that what got you to where you are right now is not going to get you to the next level. What got you to right now in your marriage, in your relationship, is not going to get you to the next season of that marriage and relationship. What got you right now to your career and your financial situation, whether good or bad, it is not going to get you out of that into the next season. Right? Doing the same thing over and over again is going to, again, like we stated at the beginning, is going to keep you stagnant when your brain, the plasticity of it, is prepared for evolution. This is going to happen inevitably. Okay, so why not be a little bit more in control of this? You've set your intention, you've got the why down, you're feeling good about yourself. You've considered back and forth, you've contemplated, you've weighed the odds, you've gone through that in the contemplation phase. Now you've prepared the foundation and said, I've gathered all the information that I need. Now, we are at the step of taking an action. You're wanting to do something in your life. You're wanting to change something in your life. And now, it is time to take that action. The first thing I always tell people, if you have butterflies in your stomach, if you're sweating a little bit, if you're feeling uncomfortable, if it feels uneasy, that's a good place. Lean into that because you've done all the pre-work. I remember in grade school, we did all this pre-work. And for what reason, when you got on the test, when you actually did the homework, when you actually got graded, there was a reflection by you being pushed into that next step. You did all the work. You gathered all the information. You did what you were supposed to do. It's not time to go backwards and say, well, I didn't consider that. No. It's a natural secular formation of evolution that you're going to go through. So once you take the actionable step, once you change that behavior instinctually, you're going to learn from that action. Okay? The quicker you take an actionable step and start changing slowly. You will learn along the way, and you won't even remember that action step that you took because you're continuously evolving and growing. You're saying, okay, well, on to the next pre-contemplation, on to the next contemplation, on to the next actionable step and preparation stage. Now, how do we maintain once we get into a new behavior? Okay, this is important. And this is where it comes into play, where you must have a habit loop. Okay, if you're familiar with The Power of Habit, the book, okay, all my book recommendations, I have a whole book list down below. You can check that out, but it's called The Power of Habit. Many people have read it. Maybe you haven't at all, but maybe you've heard about it. It's the habit loop. Okay, we have a cue, all right? Then we have a routine, and then we have a reward. Okay, what is the cue? I'm going to go through the 5 triggers typically that you're going to see when you're cueing a new behavior. There's time. Inevitably, time is going to happen. So when you wake up in the morning, that's a cue for you to go to the restroom, brush your teeth, wash your face, drink your glass of water, get your workout in. Whatever cue that is, time is coming into your space. Again, before you go to bed, time is happening, so you are going to bed at that specific time, whatever it is for you, whether it be early at 8, 9, 10 o'clock, or whether it be after, into the next day. So it's time that's happening regardless. Okay, so that's a trigger, all right? And these are positive triggers to change the behavior. You might be thinking about triggers, and we can go into that further in another video. The next trigger is a location, okay? Maybe your current location isn't serving you and it's getting you into a bad behavior. How can you change that environment just a little bit for you to have a positive trigger to change that new behavior? A preceding event, all right? Trauma, things that have happened for you can trigger something for you to go into a bad habit. All right. Number 4, an emotional state. If you are in an emotional state, you typically might not make the best choices for changing a behavior. That's why you get in this loop of continuously doing the bad behavior or being stuck right where you are. Other people. I talk about this all the time, the power of your circle. Who's in your immediate circle to influence you in a positive manner to move your life in the direction that you want to go. So if you're trying to change a behavior, get to the next season and next level, who are the people around you? Look at them. Are they complacent? Are they stagnant? Are they where you want to be? Right? Get around the people that's where you want to get to. Okay? An energetic transfer will happen regardless. All right? So these are the 5 triggers. Again, time, location, a preceding event, emotional state, and other people. All right. And this habit loop that's forming, whether positive or negative, hopefully after you've listened to this video, you're going to instinctually do positive things, have positive cues for you to have a positive routine. And then the result, the reward, is what you get after you've had the cue, the positive trigger, then you've had the routine, the new behavior that you instilled into your life, and then you can reap the rewards. So hopefully this helped you in any way possible. If it gave you a new perspective, a new viewpoint, please let me know down below in the comments. Hit me a like, hit me a subscribe, as well as share this out with anyone you think will benefit, that needs to hear, that's maybe in a bad state of making a decision or changing a behavior that they have right now. If they want something out of their lives, if you want something out of your life, something is going to have to change. And why not be the driving force for that change? So thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate you. Let me know how I can serve you in any way. All of my resources will be down below in the description box. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.